which case, we've got half an hour together, and my new role is skills, and it's really skills from a student perspective. And I realise that you're from colleges, from university centres and from multi-academy trusts, so a big spread. But what I'm going to suggest is that I share with you two things that are interesting, and we leave a bit of time for Q&A at the end. So if you have any questions at any point through, just put your hand up and I'll do my best. When you're presenting, sometimes you don't see that. So perhaps the easiest thing actually, rather than put your hand up, is come off mute and just shout out. And that'll catch me in my tracks and we can answer the question there and then. But before I get started, when I think of student skills, I think of them in three buckets. The first bucket is all around productivity and making sure that your guys are going to be able to move out into the world of work and be confident when it comes to using Teams and Office 365 and all that kind of stuff, because most businesses would use that stuff. I think it's 85% of businesses use Office 365 and a huge, like over 90% use Teams. So it's a very high percentage. The next bucket is technical skills, and the next bucket is sort of employability skills, which are a bit broader. And I thought today, because you're all experts on Office 365, I thought I'd focus on technical and employability, and I hope that would work for you. So if anyone wants to shout out and have a conversation about Office 365, let me know, and I'll put that in at the end. But in the meantime, I thought I'd start with the technical skills. And this is dead easy. It's a really, really simple aka.ms learn. And I'd love you to come off mute and let me know if you've ever seen this platform before. Anyone seen it? Shout out a yes or a no.
No, I've not seen it.
No? Oh, okay. Okay, well, let me tell you a bit about it. In the old days, in the good old days, Microsoft used to have, actually, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to just kill my video because that might mess up the transmission. In the old days, there used to be loads of platforms with Microsoft curriculum on it. There were some that were academic, some that were for developers, some that were for government, all mixed up. But they've consolidated that into one place, which is called Microsoft Learn, and this is it. And it's just the one place where everything is. So whoever you are, whether you're in the profession, whether you run Marks and Spencers and want to upskill your staff, whether you're in government, whether you're in universities or colleges, this is the only place where Microsoft has its curriculum. And all the curricula here is free. Much of it will take you towards being able to qualify and take a certificate. And the certificates obviously have to be paid for because they come through third-party people like Prodigy, and we've got Andy Lenihan on the call today, so he can talk to us a bit about that too later. But everything on this platform is free, and I wanted to show you a few aspects of it which are quite fun. So, for example, if you look here, popular learning paths and modules, there's loads. But if I show you what one looks like, we'll take the Azure Fundamentals learning path, which is fairly typical. It's basically got about a 10-hour learning journey in 12 modules. It outlines what you'll cover in the course. And then as you scroll down, what you get is Module 1 and a bit of a breakout of all the different elements of Module 1. All online, all free. You can pick it up on your iPad. It's really easy to consume. And then here are all the other modules that are part of the program. So core cloud services, Azure architecture and service guarantees. Then there's a bit about Azure compute options down here. Get storage options, networking options. So loads and loads of good stuff. And the thing to say about this course is that it comes with the all together, go back up to the top, with the 10 hours of learning and the 12 modules. It encompasses 23 labs. So the students who are studying this would at the same time be getting hands-on. They have a go, they execute a particular project or something within the labs. So at the end of this, they've learned about the knowledge and they've had a go at practicing skills which are related to the knowledge. So that's really, really important. If you go back to the main page, one of the things I always suggest to do is to go here where it says learn on your own schedule. And if you click here, you can see that there are 1,757 different modules and learning pathways here. And they cover different technologies, different job roles, different levels, etc. And what I normally do is ask people to shout out something for me to search for. It needs to be technical, so don't ask for something in politics, but these are the things people have asked me to look for before. So shall we look for one of those? Shout out somebody, tell me what to search for.
How about 365 fundamentals, Claire?
Sorry, which 365?
365 fundamentals, M365.
M365. I think it's called Microsoft. 365 fundamentals. There we go. So there are 10 results. And if we were to take the learning path, that's Power Platform, M365 fundamentals, this is this learning path. Again, you can see that there are 4 modules that take you through the productivity and teamwork capabilities of M365. And that's at least a place to start. Bearing in mind that it's a sort of a technical platform, if you were to look for one of the technical topics that I've searched for in the past, let's just do AI. 478 results for AI. So tons and tons and tons of stuff. And some of it, actually, let's do another one, because many of you will have students who will be studying Python, for example. And there are 29 results for Python, the first of which is what is Python? So 15-minute little baby module, what is Python? And it takes you through loads of really good learning paths and modules all around Python so that you become really confident. So when you're going off to do your data analytics or your coding or your data science, you know where you're going. You see, it's a big part of this, this learning path down here, Foundations of Data Science. So there's loads of stuff. It's very easy to search for. And the next thing to say about this website is that there's a student-facing page. So Microsoft Learn for Students is really easy to find, and it has lovely projects which have been designed to appeal to students. So things like tracking wild polar bears with AI, or classifying endangered bird species with custom vision, or creating a chatbot to help students learn with Azure bot services. These are fun projects which are all curated, and there's a lot of help to help the student get through them. But there's also a couple of other things on this page that I wanted to flag for you. So if you've got students who are doing a technical subject, encourage them to come here and become a Microsoft Learn student ambassador. So if we look at this program, you'll see straight away that it's designed for colleges and universities, really. And you apply, you get your profile on the website, there's events, there's a big stretch project, all kinds of things. So lots of, you work with students from around the world. You can mix and mingle with mentors in Microsoft and our partner companies and Microsoft Most Valued Professionals. And there are these 3 different levels of being an ambassador. You can be alpha, beta, or gold. And if you look at what that means, if you're an alpha student, I hope you can see this okay and read, it's not too small, but you get tons of Azure credits and subscriptions and stuff like that, exam vouchers, so it's really cool. And you get the student ambassador's domain name, so that's quite fun. And then over here, the beta students get all of that, plus they get swag. They also get event support, which actually is a posh name for getting a Subway subscription, so that when we're all allowed to go back to face-to-face events, if you get people together for an event, you can get a whole load of sandwiches and food delivered from Subway, which is really cool. And then if you go up to gold, then there are lots of really special attributes, and you get mentored, you get supported, you work with people from around the world. So this is a really cool offering, and I would heartily recommend it. So if you've got people who are studying anything in the tech world, encourage them to become this, because they'll build relationships, networks, they'll do projects, and they'll have so much more to say when it comes to looking for a job and going for those interviews where you have to say, so what interests you? You know, you've got something to come up with which is outside your course. Then the last thing to say on this page is that this is a site which is designed for individuals to consume for themselves. So it's really cool. But if as an educator, an academic, you want to be teaching with anything on this website, then you're going to want some extra support. And Microsoft's done that by putting in a tile here that says, are you an educator? And if we click on that for just a moment, what you'll see is that you have to validate yourself as an educator, and then you get all kinds of extra materials. And the extra materials are terrific. But they're not available for everybody. They're just available for academics. And to give you an idea about what they are, imagine you were teaching Azure Fundamentals, which is the course we've just looked at. As an educator, there's a little video here, we'll skip that, but you go here, you click on Fundamentals, and what you get to help you with the teaching is the Trainer Handbook, the lab instructions, actually I'll make this a bit bigger to make it easier to see. There we go. So you get the handbook, the lab instructions, the teaching guide, the course data sheet, and up here, if we click on this, you'll see you get all of the PowerPoints that go with each of the modules. So we want to support academics who want to teach with anything from Learn, but it all comes back to, basically Microsoft Learn. And that was the first thing I wanted to share. And before we go anywhere else, has anyone got any questions, anything they'd like to ask me, which is associated with that? We've got more people on the call now, but not too many of you, just to jump off mute and ask me the question. It's free, remember, the exams aren't, but you can get exam packs which make the exams very, very cheap. But you have to pay for, the curriculum is free. Pooja, what's your question?
Is Microsoft Learn, is it only for the technical skills, or have you got courses there like for user base?
No, it is for technical. The user-based things sit somewhere else, and I hadn't really planned to speak much about them because they're quite well known. Support.office.com has got millions of little short videos. There's the Microsoft Office Specialist courses. There's the Microsoft Learning Pathways. There's loads of stuff for Office 365. So this is definitely for the techie students.
Okay, thank you.
Or students who want to do techie stuff.
Great, thank you.
But there are some things which the next platform I wanted to share with you, which I'll go back and share with you now, is something which, let me just see, she says boldly here, it's here. This is something which every single student might find value in. And I mention it because it's an enormous program from Microsoft that was launched in the summer, and it comes in 3 waves. So the first wave is live already. The second wave for students will launch in October, and the third wave for companies will launch just before Christmas. And all of these waves are about digital skills in the era of coronavirus. So you can see this website where it says we've committed to helping 25 million people acquire new digital skills for the COVID economy. So if you think about it, the wave 1 is job seekers, wave 2 is students, and wave 3 is companies who've got people coming back into jobs, but their jobs are more digital than they were when they left. So they've got to be upskilled in between times. And if I show you a little bit, if the websites for these I'll put in the chat window, but if we look at the Join Us, and we look at the job seekers. So I know it says job seekers, but bear with me because this is useful for all your students too. So what you've got here are materials from LinkedIn, from Microsoft, and from GitHub. We've put all our resources together in this program. And this particular program, which as I mentioned is focused on job seekers, has the most in-demand jobs and the skills you need for that. Then it's got a bit about searching for and applying for jobs. And then it's got a bit about preparing for interviews. And actually, all of these things, I think, have a role. So if we look at the Start Learning, so again, just a reminder, it's from all these 3 platforms. But these are the 10 most in-demand jobs. So financial analyst, graphic designer, digital marketeer, software developer, etc. And if any of these look interesting, you can click in and you see straight away that there are a bunch of courses, all free, which are available for you. So remember, this is the software developer course. So you've got programming foundations, you've got databases, you've got the web, HTML, CSS, Java, JavaScript actually, Python and SQL. And you can dive in and do any of these courses for free. And one thing to flag, I think, which is quite interesting, is if you pick a topic like customer service specialist, I did this the other day and I realized when you look at the courses there, there's actually tons of stuff which is very widely applicable for students, whatever they're going to go into in terms of work. So building rapport with customers, that's an important course. Handling abusive customers, or maybe you won't have to do that, hopefully not, but perhaps positive conversations with challenging customers, that's an interesting course to do. So some really, really good courses. And as I say, there are 8 courses for each of 10 of the most in-demand jobs. And your students could easily find things there which are additional to and would support their employability. And then when it comes to searching for and applying for jobs, I love this page because it's a LinkedIn special. Nowadays, if you're looking for work, you add a little tag to your LinkedIn profile, and you can see here it says open to work. And that green tag stays with your photo in your LinkedIn profile, and it makes it really obvious to people that you've got a chance, they got a chance to employ you. If you come on further down here, there's a really good course about how to use LinkedIn to get you to find a job. Another really good course about getting your profile to stand out so that you're the one who's picked for interview. And then further on down, there's all kinds of information about how to help get your network up and running. And then some supporting courses, which I think are really interesting. Now, your students won't have necessarily value for recovering from a layoff, but this one, how to manage feeling overwhelmed. Loads of students nowadays feel overwhelmed because the world is so uncertain because of COVID. Writing a resume and digital networking strategies, these are really useful courses. And I would point your students generally at this website because they can look. Then when it comes to preparing for interviews, this is quite fun because there are 2 pretty much standard courses. There's one about video interview tips and one about digital body language. But here's another one which is fun. So has anyone on the call ever tried PowerPoint Coach? Shout out if you have. No? If not, after the call, just dive into Google and search for PowerPoint Coach. It's really cool. So what it is, it's a big AI machine that sits behind your computer. You prepare your presentation and then you deliver it to your computer. And the PowerPoint Coach prepares a report for you. And it says things like, did you realise you used far too many colloquialisms, or you use acronyms the whole time without explaining what they stand for? Or you spoke 1.5 times more quickly than most other people would. So you're talking very fast and that'll make it hard for people to keep up. And all those kinds of things, really, really good advice. And we've put a similar sort of engine behind interview responses so the students can practice their interview responses and then get a feedback report that tells them whether they were on message, whether they came up with good evidence, whether they spoke with empathy and all of those types of things. It's really nice. And then further on down here, you've got common interview questions where, you know, the question is, tell me about yourself. It gives you an overview and an answer framework to help you prepare your answers. So this is really good too. And I think these two websites, so that, you know, the first one is the main one. I'll have to go back to it. The main one for the, oh, she says boldly, maybe I can't. Isn't that weird? Never mind. The first one is, I'll do it this way, aka.ms, aka.ms skills. And that's the one which has got all of the support to help you support your students in their employability approach. And the second one is Microsoft Learn, which we spoke about, which is all about their technical curricula. You know, both are completely free. And both have a lot to offer. And I think, you know, if I could encourage you, Microsoft Learn is aka.ms learn/learn, and the other site is aka.ms/skills. So they're very, very easy to find. And what I wanted to do there is just to kind of pause for thought, because I'm sure that people have questions. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen for the moment. I'm going to open up, and if anyone would like to jump off mute or put up their hand, ask me a question, because we've got 5 minutes left, and I'd love to be able to respond to any questions you might have. I would say to Pooja, if you need any help with the, let me just put something in the chat window here. Oh no, I can't. I haven't got a chat window. That's really weird. I can't do it. What I'll do is I'll provide for Drew, and he'll circulate to everyone, a really good deck which has masses of stuff about helping people use Office 365 really well. And Pooja, there's lots of stuff that will be useful for yourself. Andrew, do you want to take a minute talking about certifications and how people do that?
Absolutely. I was going to jump into that. I actually talked about Microsoft Learn on my session this morning, and just to really to let the guys know, particularly the Grimsby Institute guys, that Deborah Miller and Elaine Topham, who have kind of been instrumental in putting today together. They manage the certification program over at the college, so you guys have actually got access to the Microsoft Certified Educator program. So Elaine, I guess, would be the first point of contact, and the MCE is a fantastic certification, just as a selfish point of view from yourselves, really, for your own CPD. Although your students will benefit from the fact that, you know, you'll be more confident in using digital tools to enhance your learning provision, but it sits very well on your own CV. So although my session this morning was very much around using micro credentials for employability for your students, as an MCE, as a micro credential for yourselves, it's absolutely worth going along. And if, in particular, those of you who've done the MIE and perhaps the MIEE, it would be, I guess, the next natural progression. And like I say, over at the institute, you've got all of the access to those exams, as well as the practice tests, which are included in there as well. And then the other thing I wanted to just mention, Claire, just to pick up for the conversation with Puya, you do actually have some resources for the Microsoft Office courses through your membership of the Imagine Academy down at BMet. So I can certainly have a chat with you offline if you like about that.
That's really kind of you, Andrew. Thank you. I think the MCE is a great qualification, because there aren't many qualifications or certifications that tell the world generally that you're a great academic and you're great with all the productivity tools, Office 365 and Teams and all the rest of it, and that you can use them for pedagogical outcomes, you know, better outcomes for your students. And basically the course, or the recommended learning path for MCE, would be probably the 21st Century Learning Design course, which has been built with UNESCO and Trinity Dublin. And then you might do something like the Office 365, what's it called? The learning path expert. There's a learning path academy, the Office 365 Academy. Gosh, I'm only out of that job for 3 months and I've already forgotten the names. But the Office 365 Academy, and then perhaps a bit of the OneNote stuff or whatever, you can quite quickly make up the things that you need to get through that exam, and it's definitely worth having. As Andrew says, it's good for your CV. But those are the sort of things. There's going to be a big splash in October when the student-focused stuff comes through from Microsoft, which is attached to the COVID program. So remember those 25 million people that we're trying to get back into a job? Well, a lot of them are going to be students, and we want to help them too. And so look out for a big splashy announcement sometime in October, because that'll be absolutely sort of front and center for your students, and we'll have lots of stuff which will be good for them. Any other questions? No? Everyone's being so quiet, it makes me nervous that I've been too dominant in the conversation. Come on, help me out. Somebody ask a question. Or tell me about what you're doing in your college, you know, for whether you can see any of these things fitting in. Sandra's just joined. Where are you from, Sandra? Nope. She joined at the very end of the call. So I can't put those two addresses in the chat window because I don't have a chat window. But remember, aka.ms/skills and aka.ms/learn. And those two links will provide you with everything that we've spoken about this morning. And I wish you well, and I hope that, you know, over the next year, at some point or another, you'll dip in and out of those two resources and share them with your students, because they're free. The students can help themselves. They can do it all additional to the courses that you're running with them, and it will give them some additional confidence and additional added value. So go for it and enjoy. Okay. Thank you for being with us today. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Drew. Enjoy the rest of the day, everybody.
Thanks, Claire.
Okay.
I have
Bye.
dropped those links in the chat as well, Claire. Just
Oh, fantastic, Drew. Thank you. That's very kind of you.
no worries. Thank you.
Well, I'll jump off now and enjoy yourself for the rest of the day, everyone. I know there's lots of great sessions.